The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
This is Mama Thea of Asli Pure, and when I want to hear the story from the lion and the lioness, I listen to Lion Voice with Kwasi Bonsu.
Greetings, I'm Sister Aisha Diana Conwood, currently the Assistant Commissioner of Agriculture for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Time for the lioness to roar. You know, this is the lion's voice. Lioness, let's roar, lion pour.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lamb's voice. Now put it, I jolly for say that.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. She's like the flowers in my garden, and her heart has never hardened, and she give me loving in the morning. Babylon, you a go far without no warning. Black woman, I said I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could have be my children's mother, but no struggle, so we both could help each other. And then I wanna be your lover, and I don't want any other. You alone, I could have be my children's mother, but no struggle, so we both could help each other. Started in the village, now we in the city. Journey where we have together, everybody see. Spent a little time out in captivity. Babylon, their plan was to destroy the family. Still I want you to bring a child for me. Maybe in the spring when birds are sing lovely, maybe we could plan to have a summer baby. I can be the man that you depend on. Put the pen to the paper, made a love song. Babylon, they separated us for so long, and the reason that they hated us was so wrong. Still,
what do you have to tell the people about Rastafari?
light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. I left himself. Where's rightful ruler? Hey yo! Yeah, hear them high, hear the black king on the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them come without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion where come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where this month the lionesses are telling their own story. It is Women's History Month, and we are highlighting the powerful voice of the Rastafari woman all month on the channel. Spread the word, balance. We are here in this time of chaos to establish that balance and stability and foundation so that we can grow and claim our rightful place among our Pan-African family. In this Armageddon, we see what's happening as Rastafari. We told them this time would come, and it's here. What are we going to do? What is the role of the Rastafari woman? That is what we want to talk about tonight, and what we are going to talk about for the entire month is what is the role of the Rastafari woman? What was Empress Menen role alongside the King of Kings? That balance, that, you know what I mean? We look at the pinnacle as an example. You know, that was always a concept of royalty, is that it's an example. The people rise and fall by their leader. Their leader is a manifestation of the people. You know, when you look at it from a prophetic standpoint, the people of Israel did bawl for a king, you know what I mean? And the Most High said, all right, you know what I mean, that is what you'll get. And we call ourselves a royal people, the sons and daughters of the Most High. We call our brothers king. We call our queens and empress. So what does that behavior look like in this modern world where hedonism has become the world religion? Me do what me feel like, you know what I mean? That name hedonism, you know. Do what me feel like is a hedonistic livity. So, you know, in this time that requires discipline, focus, you know what I mean, training, preparation, what is the role of the Rastafari woman, the Rastafari family? We're going to talk about it tonight. We have a powerful empress tonight. I'm so looking forward. This sister is coming from Empress Menen Rising out of Trinidad. So the item can see on this platform, we don't just stay in Jamaica. You know, I was born in Jamaica. I know the community the best in Jamaica, I would say that, and here in the DMV. But we're not just staying in these areas. We are talking to Rastafari around the world, because we are one Rastafari, one Pan-African family. And it's our time, you know what I mean? So we want to hear from the different voices, so we're touching to different places. Before I bring forward the sister, let me just big up Lion Pride, 30,000. We just hit the 30,000 milestone subscribers. We give thanks. We're at 30,500 plus now. So we're still growing rapidly, the fastest growing Rastafari platform on the internet. You know, big up all of the people who take the time to watch live. Big up the hundreds more that watch on the replay. We're growing as a family. So I have to take the time to big up everyone. If this is your first time watching, welcome. This is high-level Rastafari reasoning, you know what I mean? In the ancient time, this would happen around a fire, around a campsite. These high-level reasonings that were not accessible to the general public. In this modern time of the internet now, we are bringing forward these reasons, just like every other community is on the internet. We cannot burn Babylon. We don't provide the youths them with an alternative. So we said we're bringing the reasoning online, you know what I mean? We give thanks. We are
gathering the children from east, west, north, and south. I have people reaching out there from Zambia, Uganda, Libya, South Africa, Ghana, Tanzania, Senegal. You know what I mean? The Rastafari family from all sides. Right now it's nighttime in Africa. They'll watch it when they rise. You know what I mean? So we're gathering the family, and it's a beautiful feeling. I want to big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. We are 30 strong. I want to get to at least 1% of the audience, though, that can financially support, because we want to stay independent, non-aligned. And as we grow and we scale, the vision is not just YouTube. You know, YouTube is just the portal that we are utilizing to manifest the vision, which is Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media, just like how them have BT and MTV. We want Rastafari multimedia, not just TV, film, animation, documentary. You know what I mean? We want to produce all types of content, news from a Rastafari worldview. So this is just phase one that the item are witnessing. We know what we're doing. The network is vast. We're asking ones who are just finding out, join, you know, do the deep dive. We have over 1,000 pieces of content online right now. So we've demonstrated over the last 3 years the discipline that it takes to execute the duty. We are connecting with other Rastafari independent, non-aligned media platforms. So join. I want to just play a quick commercial for our offer. We have an offer that's going until April. So this is, you know, we're evolving the content. So not just I talking, we're trying to put forward some things to raise the standard within Rastafari. So just let me know what you think about this commercial I created. Go ahead. Creator, are you struggling? Are you struggling to turn your passion into a reality? Do you feel like your creative life is disorganized? Do you feel like your creative work is not reaching its potential? Are you a creator? Are you struggling? Are you struggling to turn your passion into a reality? Do you feel like your creative life is disorganized? Do you feel like your creative work is not reaching its potential audience? Well, you're not alone. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, and I'm here to inform the entire family that our 100 Lion Pride strong offer is coming to a close. We are accepting people up until April 1st, and then we're gonna do something else. So if you want to build your creative ecosystem, imagine having a roadmap for your creative journey. For just $10 a month, you gain access to personalized consultation designed to build your own thriving creative ecosystem. We will help you to organize your workflow, monetize your passion, and cultivate a supportive community. What exactly does that mean? You will receive monthly one-on-one consultations with me. We will work together to create a plan that fits your personal creative vision. We will focus on things like building your online presence, monetizing your work, and creating a community of like-minded people. Gain personalized strategies tailored to your specific needs. Receive expert guidance on building a sustainable creative career. Connect with a supportive community of fellow creators. Learn how to utilize the best tools and platforms for your creative niche. If you're a creative and you're tired of spinning your wheels, you're tired of your baby mother, your baby father complaining that they don't see any progress, you're tired of depending on other people for your success, you're feeling helpless, you don't have direction, you're just in the studio voicing, or you're just creating art and it's not going anywhere, you're not, building any momentum, then you need to take advantage of this offer. Join the Patreon. We are providing consultations at no additional cost when you join at the $10 and above tier. We already have people who are reaping those benefits, who are seeing the benefits on their platform. They're working with structure. There's no better feeling than to know that you're working with a purpose and that you are making progress. A lot of us are in the creative industry. We're doing things, but we're not making progress. That means that when I look at where I was last year, I should be in a much better place this year. We are building our creative ecosystem for the world to see. We have our book. We get consistent sales on the book. We have built a YouTube channel to over 30,000 subscribers. We have our merch, the Reading Ras merch. We have the music, the Dejazmatch Keeper of the Door mixtape, which we've gotten to over 1,000 views over on SoundCloud. And, you know, these are humble, small things, but they also are evidence that an ecosystem is growing. And if you look at where we were last year on all of the metrics that I've just stated above, you'll see that we've advanced. So we look forward, we've monetized our YouTube, we're getting consistent income from the YouTube channel. We have a growing Patreon community. So if you want to learn how to do the exact same thing within your creative field, then you need to become part of the team. We are building a team on the Patreon, and we're inviting the item to become a part of it. Ready to transform your creative life? Click the link below to join our Patreon community for just $10 a month. Start building your dream creative ecosystem today. Limited spots available. Again, we are sealing up April 1st. So if you don't get in on April 1st, there might be other offers, but there will not be this extended consultation offer. I charge $250 an hour for consultations, creative consultations. You can book me outside of this, but again, I'm opening it up because I'm building my own community, and so I am opening up this opportunity for others to join as we build together. But you can tap in, and I have clients, major clients that have tapped in, and they are doing excellent work as well. All right, so you can see that's just a draft. We're gonna cut it down and nice it up. But the point for our content creators is that you gotta do, you gotta take action. Whatever your passion is that you've been holding in your heart, now is the time to put it forward and take action. And that's the team that we're building here. It's people who want to take action, who want to work together. Tired of the talking. We're criticizing this and that, and it don't make no sense. We're wasting energy, and the Gideon is unfolding before us. So let us just come together and work and do what we have to do. Big up the Action Lion Pride. If you like, you comment, you share. You're part of the Action Lion Pride, the Bonsu Lion Pride, the Watch and Peep Lion Pride. Big up everyone that's making this a historic platform for Rastafari. If you haven't seen the Sister Carol episode that we did to celebrate the 30,000 subscriber milestone, check it out. Sister Carol, one of our legends, sat down with us. Powerful. And we also are just going through our Sister Colleen, talking about marketing and publishing and PR, and there's a method to everything that we're doing. A lot of us are creatives, and we like to be humble, but we have to monetize these things so that they can be sustainable, so that we can employ our youths. If we can't employ our youths, we're not going to be able to sustain our youths. That's just the facts of life right now. So everything that we're doing, we want to put structure around it, and we want to be able to monetize it so it can make sense. And you can be full-time doing what you love and what the Almighty put you here to do. Keep your day job though while you do it. All right. Yeah, that is my philosophy. All right. Anyhow, give thanks when you see I sipping. I'm sipping from a Rastafari business. Big up yourself, Rasledge, Ramia King Design. You see at the beginning. Big up Wally King's Entertainment, Graphics, and everyone who has again made this a historic platform emerging for the Rastafari family globally. We have our voice. So tonight, housekeeping out of the way, we have a powerful Empress out of Trinidad. She is the secretary for the Empress Menen Rising collective that our sisters in Trinidad that are working. You saw Queen Omega as part of that collective, Empress Sharon, um, Empress Dion. We had we've been featuring ones from this collective. They're doing powerful work. She's also a member of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Also an expecting mother, so get ready for the glow. If you have your sunglasses, you might have to put on your sunglasses because the sister is glowing. So help I to give a warm lion pride welcome to Empress Fekerte. Greetings.
Greetings, and His Imperial Majesty, Empress Haile, Empress Menen I, perfect balance, sun rising, blessed love.
Give thanks, and give thanks for your patience. We're building the plane as we fly, as they say. You know what I mean? So everything we just test out, and I really do give thanks. Before we get into our topic, we have a custom here on the Lion Voice Network. We're gonna ask the eye to step into our iritical time machine and to take us to the moment of your birth. Tell us when you were born, where you were born, and your journey to Rastafari.
Wow. So I didn't think it would be personal, but of course I would love to share my journey. My journey began when I was, I would say, 18, 19 years old. And funny enough, it actually started with my present kingman, my husband, Jabari Lamsey, right? And
Big
at
up the
that
king,
time,
man.
I was in
Yeah.
sixth form. Big up the kingman. So at that time, I was in sixth form and I was learning about, Pan-Africanism. I was learning about Black power movements, and it piqued my interest. Also, at that time, I started smoking herb a little heavy. So through that, we ended up, in the same space. And through that experience, smoking herb, right, we end up sharing knowledge and reasoning. And he gave me my first, I could say, Black conscious book pertaining to Rastafari, which was the speeches of Marcus Garvey, a big black book, very big, like a Bible. I never forget. I didn't even get to finish read it cover to cover because at that time, I was in school, so on mornings and evenings. But that book changed my perspective and it also piqued my interest to want to learn more. So I started reading. So I was in Form 6, so you have access to books in the library, you have more free time. So I started reading whatever I could find. Barry Shavans, started reading His Imperial Majesty, his speeches, his works, the autobiography. I also had a lot of influence from my father as well. He plays a major role in my life. Big up daddy too,
Yes,
right?
big up daddy, big up
So from a
daddy.
young age, apart from my experiences in sixth form, apart from my experiences in sixth form, I wasn't really aware of it. But from a young age, my father was planting a seed in me mentally. So every time he would take us book shopping, right, we would go to the bookstore as a thing. That was a thing we used to do, go to the mall, and we go to the bookstore. My favorite thing to do with him up to this day, right? And apart from my novels that I like to get, your little romance, drama, fiction, you know, I always had to get a history book. So I get in a book at once, but I have to get a history book as well. That was his requirement. And from a young age, he was introducing me to more Pan African and Afrocentrism work, right? So I was reading Capitalism and Slavery at 14,
Okay.
15. And he
Big
bought
up Harry
me Black
Williams.
Jacobins.
Yes.
Big up daddy. He bought me Black Jacobins by C.L.R. James. At that
Okay.
time, that book for me was too much. But when I look back now, I was like, this man knew what he was doing, right? He was making a rebel from a young age because this is the revolutionary literature that you're supposed to be reading. But at that age, I wasn't really appreciative of it because I wasn't aware of how powerful it is, right?
Yes.
And I still have books up to this day where I could just open and reference. And these were expensive books as well, right? And apart from that, he used to always talk about, how to keep yourself as a black queen. And at that time, I wasn't really trying to hear that. I wanted to wear the weaves and do my nails and be the aesthetic black girl that, the hyper consumerism culture, perpetuates. I wanted to be that because I didn't have an opportunity to be that. So when the opportunity presented itself, that is what I wanted to be because that is what the women in my family, how they presented themselves. I wasn't from a Rastafari family, but my father is very Afrocentric. So as a teenager growing up, he kept putting in my head, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is how you're supposed to carry yourself. He never, berated me or you know, tried to bring me down about the things that I was interested in at that time, even though I was straying away from the principalities of Pan-Africanism and carrying
Okay.
yourself in a particular way. But he kept putting the message in my head. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to say. This is how you're supposed to act as a young lady. And
Powerful.
eventually it stuck. And that is basically who I am now. I am a reflection of my father pouring into me. And then I align myself with people based on my interests because I would already have the knowledge. So by the time I was able to sit down with my kingman and reason, I already knew certain things, right? So we were
Okay.
able to meet each other intellectually, and it grew from there. But he, instead of Pan Africanism, he steered me into a different direction, which is Rastafari.
Give
So
thanks.
I
Give
started to read
thanks.
about Selassie.
Big up.
And
Big up
then
the
I started
Christian.
big
There's
up the
no
king man. Big
to
up the
big up
king
the
man there.
Christian because on this platform we are very pro family and especially Rastafari family. So I love, what I mean, that the I is really defending that and living that reality, and it's precious to I and I. It's very precious
Yes,
to
sir.
I and I.
Because even though we have these stereotypical narratives that the father not in the home and the contributing to the different bad parts of our culture as black people, we have to rise beyond that narrative. I didn't grow up in the same house with my father, but he contributed so much to me, right? He poured into me the best way he could have due to the circumstances, right? And I have no reason to have any resentment or any bitterness towards my father because what media trying to say that we should have sometimes based on the circumstances it wouldn't be that way, but that doesn't take away from what we can contribute to our family units, right? So
Yes.
he contributed the best way he can through education, right? And then he left me to go ahead and learn and build myself from there. And then now my kingman and his situation where he into Rastafari, and you might say, well, the stereotypical narrative as these men want to exploit the woman and just want to have them under subjugation and control them by giving them this philosophy of Rastafari where, they in a more controlled environment, which is not true. Right? That is a stereotype. That opened a door for me to explore who I was as a woman and my initiation into womanhood. Right? So that is why
Okay.
most times the same Rastafari might be, it might be a kind of misogynistic space, because in order for a woman to enter Rastafari, you have to be through a man. But sometimes the men are the leaders in that particular space to allow you to come in within yourself, to find the consciousness within yourself that you need to grow, and then it flourishes from there. Right?
Yes.
So
Leadership does not mean
a lot of
domination.
that's correct, not domination, guidance, direction.
Haile.
Right?
Yes.
Well,
So
apart from that, that's just the beginning, right? If I if I'm allowed to continue with the journey, because
yes,
that's
yes.
just the beginning.
Before stick up in. Where in Trinidad were you born? What part of Trinidad?
I was born in Sandy Grande, right? So that is
Okay.
a more eastern rural part of Trinidad,
Okay,
and
okay.
I'm East Scale, you could say. And I went to school in the
Because
West.
we have a big Trinidad audience too, so we have to make the people abroad from Trinidad know where you're there, where you come from. They want. So talk
Sandy
to us.
Grande, Arima.
Okay, okay. So talk to us about this love story, because it sounds like it's an epic love story with the King Man.
Oh yes. It's that epic love story for real, but it's a story about who I am, is a part of me, right? But fast forward into university, Kingman not involved now, it's just me, right? And I just went on a rampage, right, at university. Anything I could get my hands on to read, I make sure and I read it. Right? I couldn't afford to buy the books, but I was always in the library and I was always seeking. I also, in my first year of university, along with my best friend at that time, and our mentor, Amilka Sanatan, and Taimba Salandi, some of our tutors and lecturers, we
Wow, wow.
created a group called the Student Socialist Conference, SSC. And basically it was a reading group. So our tutors and our mentors will give us articles and books on socialist revolutionary thinking.
Okay.
And we would meet every Thursday and talk about what we read. We would do action work as well. We would do collective action work on campus and in the community as well. We will do school appearances, to give the youths guidance about the political figures they should be interested in. And that is what I did when I was on campus. I was academics was easy for me, learning and the courses was easy, but that wasn't my interest. My interest was revolution.
Yes,
My interest was, getting out on the streets, giving out pamphlets, talking revolutionary stuff in our little circle of friends. It was
yes.
a nice time. It was a nice time. And I also got into feminist groups as well through the Institute of Gender and Development Studies. I did my minor in gender studies. But my experience with that was a little conflicted because, as I said, at my core, I was interested in Rastafari, right? But within the feminist movement, there's a lot of liberalism, especially pertaining to the LGBT community. So I had a little conflict of interest there,
Yes.
and I had to move away from what I at that time thought was right, but within my development too, I could see how it was harmful. The philosophies of it is contradictory to what I wanted to be, right?
Okay, okay.
So into my 20s now,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
um,
Continue.
I kind of strayed away from the philosophy. I was more into spirituality. As I said before, the feminist movement kind of interrupted the
Yes,
politics,
yes. It's a journey.
right?
It's a journey.
Yes. So I entered the spirituality and the free thinking and all that. I was just working, trying to you know, make it as a youth. I didn't grow up in a wealthy family or well off at that. I
Yes,
was
yes,
low. Well, I am right, but now that I'm an adult, I've worked my way a bit up in the social, economic
yes,
hierarchy. But at that
yes.
time, as I get to youth, I will class myself as lower working class background.
Okay, okay,
Everything I had to do, I didn't have any support system, so anything I had to do, I had to do it myself. So
okay,
at some point, I had to forget school and I had to work to keep a roof over my head to eat and sustain myself. So I had to work, I had to hustle, and I had to endure a lot of tribulation. But
okay,
that also built my character. And at some point, I was able to realign myself into the path that I was on before. I said, you know what, I want better for myself and I want to actually self actualize the things that I always wanted to do when I was in school.
okay.
So I moved back home, right? So from being on my
That's a
own
big
from
step. Yeah,
18
that's a
to
big step. That's
25.
a big step. Yeah, man. When you move back home, you're serious because you have to humble yourself. Serious.
Yes, I have to
Yeah.
humble myself and go back to the nest, right? Recalibrate, get serious, build yourself a little while. And that is where me and my kingman end up linking back up after all those years. And I wasn't into orthodoxy because I was more into the um, Kemetic philosophy, right, and spirituality.
Okay.
So I had a problem with orthodoxy. Right,
Yes.
it
What
was
about
hard for me to
Shango?
accept
What
because I
about
thought I knew
Shango?
everything.
Did you go in a Shango?
Yes.
Yeah, Rishas?
Well, my family is Baptist as well too, spiritual
Okay.
Baptist or Anorisha. So I have that influence as well. So I
Okay.
was more onto the side of indigenous African spirituality and African spiritual sciences.
Yes,
So
yes.
I didn't want
I
to
know
hear nothing. I
Trinidad
was
is a big place.
orthodoxy.
Yes, I know Trinidad is
Yeah.
Yoruba land. I know Trinidad is Yoruba land, so
Right.
that influence is very powerful down there. Trinidad and Brazil,
Right. And
you
I
know.
have it on my yes.
Okay,
So I
yes.
have it from my dad and I have it from my aunts and my grandmother on my mom's side. So the
Okay,
influence
serious.
is there. But when I met my kingman, everything about him is knowledge and reasoning. So
Okay. What
we
kind of
had
work does the
discussion.
king man do? What type of work does the king man do?
He actually works in the library at Jordan Library in the University of the West Indies.
Okay, he's a
He
reading
is an
rat.
attendant. Yes.
Big up all the reading rats. Big up yourself, king man. Yeah, man, we love it. Continue.
Right. So um it was hard for me to adjust to the philosophies of the Orthodox Church because I said, we don't deal with blood atonement. We don't deal with, um, anything that is not of our culture and that was inherited from at that point I didn't see it as inherently African, right? I saw it as something that was brought up upon us from a mixture of African people, a more, diversified ethnicity of African people onto more indigenous African people, right? So that's how I saw it. And again, if I'm a Pan Africanist, we are one, right? So it was kind of confusing at the time, but you really have to work out your politics too, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
now, at that point, I listened to him. I went to the church, but he wasn't the one that convinced me. It's when I stepped into the church that is when I was convinced. And it wasn't
Okay,
anything that anybody told me. It was the feeling that I got when I went there, right?
okay,
And as I could say, from the time I smelled the incense and I was in the environment, it's like I had a cosmic shift, right?
okay,
Pause, raise. I started to feel weird, like I was feeling sick, right? And that is when I had like a different spiritual awakening. And from that,
okay,
I started to take baptism classes. I attended every class. I was baptized in the next year. and that was it. And while I was there in the church now, I have family in the church, right? And I discovered that I have roots in the church, right?
Okay.
Apart from, you know, what we have with our spiritual Baptist side of the family, when you go into the history of the Orthodox Church in Trinidad, my family was part of that founded history, right? Because, Kes Springer, which is a pioneer within the church, is actually my grandmother's cousin. My
Okay.
cousin, right? My dear cousin, she was Orthodox her whole life because of her aunt. And my whole life, I know her as Rasta, so that's why I had the influence as well. But she is a devoted Orthodox. And then like, when it was COVID that time, so I hadn't seen her in some years. So when I went to the church, I saw her, get to see my little niece, and it was just like home, right? And then I see distant cousins that I knew, and then I spoke to my grandmother about Kes Springer, and she told me yes, he was into that Pan-African thing, and I was more on my Baptist thing. And when you go into the history of the church, it had a divide between the Black Coptic um aspect of it and the Ethiopian Orthodox aspect. And then on my
Okay.
father's side, my grandmother, when she was a young woman, she was within the Orthodox Church, one of the first members, but she went on to be more a evangelist Christian, right? But she was involved in the church. As my dad told me when I told him I was going to the church, and that he was like, well, Granny Pearl used to go to that church, and I went there when I was a little boy. I was like,
Mm,
for real? And it's spiritual alignment. So that is why I felt that way when I went into that church, because my
okay.
ancestors, my grandmother, she passed now, they were there in that space at the
Yes.
time of the creation of the church, right? Even though they
Definitely.
might have departed and went their ways into their different spiritual beliefs, that was their foundation, because they were looking for something as Black people coming out of the post independence era as well, looking to create their space and their own spiritual practices outside of the dominant, religious institutions like Anglican, Catholic, and stuff. At that time, there was a consciousness within Black people in Trinidad, and my family
Mhm.
was a part of that, right?
Okay. Okay.
Politically and spiritually. So that time when I went home, my life just 360, and I was back into the girl I was when I was 18 years old, discovering the world. And it's like in a healing. So I was healing the hurt teenager, the confused teenager, and becoming into a
Okay.
woman.
Becoming into
And
a woman powers. So how do I cite the divinity of His Imperial Majesty, or Imperial Majesty? How did because I know every Orthodox is different.
well, I always saw His Imperial Majesty as divine, always from the beginning. From that conversation first with my kingman, and then other elders who I met along the way, and who told me about His Imperial Majesty as the second advent of Christ. So I always believed that wholeheartedly before my whole life, before I actually accepted Orthodoxy. But
Okay.
through reading and understanding prophecy and knowledge and spiritualism and politics as well, I had a kind of deeper understanding of why His Imperial Majesty was mystified and why is he divine. He is divine, and why he's seen as divine, and why we venerate him. It's like the same way we venerate our ancestors, right? We don't within our faith we don't see him as divine in orthodoxy. We praise Jesus Christ.
Yes.
But Selassie also encouraged his followers to be disciples of Christ as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you hail the King, you have to hail Jesus Christ. Same way,
Mm-hmm.
right? So is it is following his example and personifying and embodying what he represented, not only politically but spiritually as well. So he is divine to me because of the way he lived his life and how he um personified Christ consciousness
Yes,
as well.
Livity. We're gonna talk
Live.
about, that's our topic for today, is gonna be Livity. How does the eyesight Empress was zero Menen now within that fullness?
Well, if you read about His Imperial Majesty, obviously you will come across Empress Menen. And well, her works as well, what she did as his, consort, his wife, his partner in life, their love story, how they, you know, she had previous marriages before him, and I think she had children before him. So it was an interesting thing to learn about. It is like you could relate to their lifestyle. You could see it as something that you will see in your everyday life, in your family, and amongst the black family on a whole, right? And when I learned about, I continue to learn, right? I remember a time, funny story, I was in town. I was a young woman, probably 18, 19, and I had my pen with Empress Menen, right? So I walking in town, and I asked someone, asked me, you know who that is? You have out the pen, you know who that is? Because most persons, they wear, you know, the um the relics of Rastafari, but they're not aware of the figures and what they did and what they
Yeah,
contributed. They're just
okay.
doing it for style. So this Rasta man was like, you know who that is? Confronted me. I was like, yes, Empress Menen was there, man. And I said her name. And he was like, oh, leave it to go. Right? So I always try to keep up with the knowledge. So Empress
I
Menen
see
to
that.
me is everything that I should as a woman, right? Even though it is a battle, you know, to stay steadfast in this Gideon, this hyper consumerism, you know, culture that we are placed in as black women and the expectations of it as a black woman. Because when you live a life a certain way, sometimes you might feel rejected, sometimes you might feel overlooked because you know within yourself you're doing the right thing, but everybody will make you feel like you're doing the wrong thing. So,
Hmm.
and also you might see things that might be desirable to you, but what is important is to educate yourself so you can find balance into what you really want and how to go about it and what you represent. So, yes. So, starting of the queen is an example. The queen is all over my room, and not Empress Menen alone. Other powerful black queens,
Okay.
Kandakis that you know represent royalty and oneness and honor as a black woman.
Yes, I think that our generation has to break those curses that were put upon us during the transatlantic slave trade and colonialism, the broken families, the this and the that. Part of our liberation is to break those chains. And I think Haile Selassie, Empress Menen provide us with a template, you know, in terms of how we can live
Yes.
and to balance each other. You know what I mean? What are some of the characteristics of Empress Menen that I think are relevant for the Rastafari woman of today?
She was charitable. She was an entrepreneur, so she had her own, right? She always was an enterprising woman. She always tried to, have, well, she came from a noble family first and foremost. So she came from a little bit of comfort and wealth. So she used that to do charitable works, one. But she also used that, like seed capital to invest and grow as a woman through business and investing. And that enabled her to help her kingman, His Imperial Majesty, as well. She was a diplomat. She was a strategist, right? So she actually, you know, gave guidance to His Imperial Majesty on diplomatic and administrative works and nation building strategies. And apart from that, she was a caregiver to her many children, and she was a devoted Orthodox. So she didn't play about her church, right? She was
No.
always praying right through. And in times of trouble, she prayed. In good times, she prayed. And she used, her knowledge of, orthodoxy to uplift the Ethiopian nation as well and embed that within the culture. So what Ethiopia is orthodoxy, right? Because they were building a nation at that time, right? So what they wanted it to look like was uh, not a theocratic state. It was a developing nation, which was modern as well, but that was deeply rooted in spirituality and orthodox spirituality, right? And in every Rasta woman I've encountered within Empress Menen Rising, especially, these women are pillars within the community with the works that they do, right? Apart from their personal life within their family and how they raise their children, homeschooling, they are medicine women, they are healers, they are all encompassing, right? But apart from that, they are entrepreneurs, they are teachers, they are career women, and they are apart their time in the career field in whatever aspect, but they also did it for a little while and they created a sustainable way of generating income so that they can be mothers. And I look at that and I'm taking that as an example to implement in my life. So they did the career thing for a while and then they are entrepreneurs. They are leaders within their own rights. Because apart from Empress Men and Rising, all the women on Empress Men and Rising, they are a part of other organizations. If it's not the Emancipation Support Committee, if it's not the Bobo Shanti Women's Group, if it's not some other community works, investments in cannabis, investments in small businesses. So they are part of a board that promotes and helps small businesses grow. Community works. I mean, everything. Then everything. We have authors on our in our group on our
Powerful.
committee.
Powerful.
We
Yes.
have women who run a kitchen, right? And a part of all of that, what they do within their lives every day, being mothers, being wives, running businesses, going to school, teaching the youths. They have time, they take time out of their day, once or two on a Tuesday to see how we can build up our group around the tenants of Empress Menen Rising and do community work.
Wow.
And it's a
Powerful.
powerful thing. It's an
How
admirable
how
thing.
how
Yes.
how,
And
how, how old is the eye? If the eye mind I asking. If you don't have to answer, if you don't want to,
I'm
but
29.
okay, because
And that's okay. As long
yeah,
as I'm here
because
share
no,
it.
no. I want just for our audience to kind of put into context, because we don't see many young Rastafari sistering, as we used to. So even to see the eye is such a joy, and the wisdom that the eye speak with, you know what I mean, is such a joy. I put the eye in the young adult category, you know what I mean, because I have I say that 20 and under is the youths, 20 to 40 is the young
Yeah.
adult, 40 to 60 is mature
Yes.
adult, 60 above you're elder.
Yes.
So I put the eye within that
Yes.
young adult, and I really give thanks just to hear the eye speak. Do you see a lot of younger Rastafari women in Trinidad younger than the eye? Are there a lot, or do you don't see as many?
There are lots. There are a lot of us. There are a
Okay,
lot.
that makes I
Apart from
feel
my
so good.
sistrins, some of them might claim the label Rastafari because of whatever other philosophies they might follow,
Okay, okay,
right? But the consciousness is there, right? Amongst you, it's there. There's a lot of us, and we are trying. We are trying. The only difference with me is that I'm trying to put myself out there. I'm trying to actually do work instead of just consume and um, try to build myself and go to work and
yes, yes,
study and make it all about me, right? I'm actually trying to contribute because that is the best thing that I could see myself doing. That is what I enjoyed the most when I was in university. And that is, this space actually gives me an opportunity to do that again. Right?
powerful.
But there are a lot of them, they might be in the background, covering, hiding. But I have a lot of sisters my age or younger who into herbalism.
Okay,
They use their TikTok page or their Instagram page to go in the bush, right? And show you what plants can heal what and do what. I have sisters into fitness, right? They might be Rastafari, right? But they are into nation building and self-determination and
that's
self-development
right.
and Pan-Africanism and living the right way and having principles and values. They are young mothers, they are daughters, they are students, they are young workers. Listen, we are out there. It's just that, sometimes the system have us, busy and, we might just want to hide when the day is done and rest and recuperate for the next. But we are there and we are doing the work.
Well,
But we are
I
using
want the
social media as our
yes, and I want the I to know that this is the I platform. The I them have a platform here on the Lion Voice Network. Anytime you need to share a message, any works that are happening, we want to make this platform available for the I works and so that we can amplify the voices because we need more young sisters to rise up. We can't just have brethren, you know what I mean? No, there's no sustainability. We need to promote families, you know what I mean? Strong families, stable families. You know, I'm anti Gallus on this platform, you know what I mean? Because I really believe in stable. You know, we need stability right now. We don't need mix up right now.
constructor.
We need structure, you know what I mean? So uh, just to hear the eye with the king man and the eyes expecting life and knowing that exhilaration, you know what I mean, it's such a powerful moment to have the eye on the platform at this moment in the eye chart, you know what I mean, and again we just big up the family. So let us talk about the Rastafari woman of today because I want to get into some topics with the I age group, you know what I mean. I want the I to educate I because a lot of younger Rastafari sisters say they don't need to wear no head wrap right now. They don't need to wear no long dress right now. If they want to put on a jeans or they want to go in a bikini, if they want to do whatever they're doing it. You know what I mean? A lot of the elder sisters in them were dealing with the modesty, and exemplifying like a Empress Menen. Where did I see the movement going for the I generation and younger? Because we can talk, my generation and above, but it's really the I them are gonna carry this thing forward, the young adults and the youth. So how do you see like things like dress code as it relates to Empress Men and Livity? Is it important or is it just the works, or do we lose something if we just look like everybody else? How do I see the whole fullness in terms of dress and image?
Well, firstly, if you want to be within Rastafari, you have to respect the principalities, right? So what is required, I would encourage anyone to do that. Cover your hair, dress modestly, and carry about yourself in a particular way with the way you speak and your mannerisms. But me personally, I grew up in an era where I was conflicted with all the imagery and all the influences around me as well. So I wanted, like, you have one foot in and one foot out. You want to do the right thing, but you're so distracted by the glamour and the nice things, right? So that's just one. It is a distraction. And it is a product of capitalism and hyper consumerism. So you need to also understand what is being targeted at you as a
Yeah,
distraction as a Black woman,
yeah,
right? However, modesty is not, to me, is not only wearing a long skirt and covering your head, because I know a lot of empresses from just observation, none that I know personally, they don't as exemplify or carry themselves in a proper manner as an empress should, and they have the long skirts and the hair wrap, right? Is it just you want to have the aesthetic of an empress, or is it that you are really an empress, right? Because the way you carry yourself, your aura supposed to speak empress. You don't even have to wear long skirts or cover your hair. Someone's supposed to watch you and could tell that is an empress, and just
mm,
by the energy you give off, right?
mm,
Men will approach you differently. People will deal with you differently because of the energy, and you don't have to wear a long skirts and tie your hair, but they can look at you and say, "This is an African woman. This is a woman who, into Rastafari thing. She looking like one of them hotep." you know, you so based on how you, and you don't even have to do the most, right? But
yes,
as I said, the faith requires us to wear long skirts and cover our hair. For me personally, covering your hair is when you're in a state of prayer.
yes,
So some women are in perpetual prayer, right? They pray all the time. So the hair
yes,
is covered all the time, right? And that is what it means to me. When you want to be in that spiritual
yes,
time and space, and you need to have that purity within yourself, you need to cover yourself. You
yes,
understand? Because the hair is powerful. You're picking up energies with the hair. Remember, that is
yes.
your connectors.
Antenna, yes,
With modesty, with your dress, you supposed to already understand what the modern clothing does, right? It actually dresses you for the male gaze. So that is to me, that is a form of subjugation, right? So yes,
Talk the things,
yes, be in a hot climate and you might want to wear a little shorts, you might want to be comfortable, but it have time and place for that,
yes. I
right?
don't. I'm not
So you
against
wouldn't go
going to the
shopping.
river. I'm not against women going to the river if they want to wear a bikini, they want to get some sun on them. I'm not against that, because I'm not a colonialist either. But I agree that it's a time and a
Right.
place. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah,
time and
that
a
time and a
place.
place.
You know what I mean? Because I also think it's good
Yes,
to encourage good fitness and health, and you know what I mean, get the sun on your body. Is important. If you're always covered up, you don't get that vitamin D, and the system them should have them time when they can do that. And as a man, you should be disciplined that
exactly.
you can be in that space and don't lose
Exactly.
your composure. You know what I
Not,
mean?
yeah,
Because
yes.
in Africa,
So we don't want
go ahead.
to, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Um, Black.
I said we don't want to have that colonial mindset with Puritan religious thinking. That is not our culture. That is not of us. That is white supremacist, Puritan, evangelistic,
Yes, yes,
ideology that we inherited from the religious influences from colonialism and imperialism. That is not our culture.
no,
Our culture is not hypersexualized in a way that you see a woman in a short skirt and she will make you think ungodly thoughts. No, our kingmen respect us. So even
yeah,
if we have on our shorts or we have on our long dress, they will respect us. But we choose to dress modestly as a way of self-protection because we know the society that we exist in, right? We exist in a hypersexualized society, a misogynistic, chauvinistic society that sexualizes us and objectifies us, as especially as Black women,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not seen as a person, you're seen as an object of desire, right? An object of desire as well as an object of demise, right? They don't want you, but they want you. They don't want to respect you, but they want to have you as a possession, as an experience because you're an exotic creature, right? So we know what we are. We are precious. So we need to cover
Yeah,
our
man. Mother
our
Earth.
precious gems, right? So,
Mother Earth.
yes, because we know we have exploitative men who want to just take that energy. So we have to cover it, right? But your hair, sometimes your hair need vitamin D. As you said, your skin needs vitamin D. So it has times where you need to free up a bit. But that is the confines of within your home, within your yard, or around your king man, right?
Yes.
So as I said, there's a time and a place and a context for everything, right? But there are some women who want to stay in that divinity at all times, right? And I encourage that. When you are wearing modest clothes, you are actually cultivating your powers as a woman, right?
Yes.
Because at that time you are not engaging in the energies that is sexualized around you. You are engaging in a higher frequency. So if you choose to be in that all the time, that state will just encourage, because once you are in that state, you're protecting yourself from conflict, contradictions, and conflicts within your spiritual self, right? So it is encouraged to always be modest. And I will always encourage that. With me, I have a more kind of youthful take on modesty
Yes.
because I I my hair, I have a dread. So my
Yes.
hair not when if I don't do my hair, like you have a dread and you have locks, right? When you have a dread,
Yes.
you're not accepted, right? That is why we choose to cover it as well. Because when they see
Yes.
those big jangs and all that Africanness, it's kind of intimidating, right?
Yeah, man.
But there are
Powers.
times that me personally, I will choose to, yeah, I would choose to, dolls up because of a special event. Probably twice for the year, honestly.
Yes.
twice, twice or once for the year, I might give the dreads a little twist and a wash. But the people who I align myself with, my hairdresser, she's a naturalist, right?
Yes.
She only
Yes.
deals with natural hair and she's a natural, right? So everything is about Afrocentrism with me.
Yeah,
If
man.
I
And
dress,
Rastafari is broad, and I want the viewers to see that. So some sister you'll never see their locks, some style their
never.
locks, some some are in between. So it's a spectrum of livity.
It's not
Yeah.
binaries where it's just it's either or. You're
No,
in or you're out.
unity does not mean uniformity. I always say that. Unity does not mean
Correct.
uniformity. So I really give thanks for the eye sharing that those details, because a lot of young sisters watch. We want more to watch, but we want them to see that this is, as you say, it's not oppressive. It's not a dominant, Ethiopian queens played a major role, what I mean, in the geopolitics of the time. Empress Menen, as you say, was a strategist, what I mean, a businesswoman. She owned properties, what I mean, estates she had inherited.
Yes.
She collected rents from people. She invested in the church. She built a school, what I mean, multiple schools and institutions for the less fortunate. And she was there as a confidant for His Majesty. In terms of relating this to young people, what's the best way you think we can communicate with Empress Menen Livity without being boring? Because we love it, we can talk about it all day, but for the young people, I have a little daughter. How do we make it exciting for them
You know, a sister of mine today, I was telling her, she asked me about the interview that I shared that I was going to do. And her words was, I don't know if she watching, but she asked me, I like Rastafari, I know, but I can't take all the rules. Right? So that's what she said. I can't take, I still like my little party and my little thing. Right? You understand? And to me, the only way to overcome these stereotypes and, everything that people might decide is bad about it or might be a hindrance to them enjoying themselves is education.
Yes.
And once you're not informed about something, you won't be interested about what it has to offer. But we have to figure out a way to make it interesting. So it's not like just recommending a book. Well, we read this book or watch this YouTube video because people they're not interested in that. It's hard enough to get people to read or watch the proper content on social media. So how we
Yes.
make it appealing is how we represent ourselves, how we present ourselves, and how we engage with others. Sometimes Rastafari, people within the movement, they might want to, see everybody as heathens and not associate with that, this and that, and they don't want to be around this, and they don't want to work, and they don't want to, they don't want to deal with our sister because she live a kind of way, and you don't want to deal with our brethren because he does this or does that. But engagement, to me, is most important. You need to be able to engage with everybody from all walks of life and be able to see life from their perspective and also to have empathy when you're dealing with people, right? So you might, you might have someone have someone that have a reputation, right? For example, this person might be interested in Rastafari, might see they having the little ideas that you started with, the spark, but then they might be doing other things that might not be becoming, right, of a woman or a king man. So you might not want to associate with them. But what I've learned, I've lost friends from, pulling away because they wasn't living the way I wanted to live and doing the things that I wanted to do. And then they are your friend, you care about them, but how much do you care about them just to leave them by the wayside and continuously do the wrong thing? You don't have to do the wrong thing with them, but you could
Yes.
always be around them because you will influence them. Just like how my sister today said, she told me she like it. She always asks me about my church, right? And I see black church and he beats on with all the black paintings and the black paintings are black Jesus. I was like, yes,
Yes.
that's the church. And she's like, I see it, but I don't know, girl. They just need encouragement. So once you're there with them and you're always there with them, reasoning with them and teaching them bit by bit and trying to put in a little thing each time, you know, people will come along. They will get there, right? And you will see that people around you start to grow. And I've seen that with
Mm.
some of my friends. I've seen that they start to grow as individuals, not probably in Rastafari philosophy, but their
Yes.
mindset started to grow.
And you
Right?
know what
So
else is
as
powerful? You know what else is very powerful? You see, like how the I have your family there with your king man, and people see the I them trotting through, and as a family, that visual
yeah,
will impact a
yes,
lot of people to want to, find out what you're doing so that they could have a similar experience. You know what I mean?
exactly. Because that is correct. That is very correct. They watch you. They mightn't tell you that they are observing everything about your life, but they are observing you because they want to know how you handle conflicts, how you deal with
Yes.
difficulties, how
Yes.
you are able to, make things work when it comes to, juggling expenses and lifestyle. They want to know about how you do it so effortlessly, and you might be stressed out, but remember your perspective on things might be a little different. So when they share things to you about what they are going through, or we just having normal discussions, you put in your perspective on certain things, and then you can also get feedback to understand the experiences of other people, to have more empathy, to know how to deal with people and be more welcoming. So we don't want to be, you know, we don't want to exclude people from the movement. We want to draw people in. So we want to live the way we say we're supposed to live, right? And back it up too, so they can see that we actually live in that way. And then we also want to explain to them, this is how we do it. This is how I don't, you want to eat properly? This is how to shop. You
Yes.
want, you want to read and expand your knowledge, I could give you a site with free books. You don't have to buy the books, right?
And
We can
and,
share
and,
the
and,
knowledge.
and here what I'm encouraging. I'm encouraging more ones to start their own YouTube channel. Like somebody should have a cooking channel, where they just cooking ital. We need
Yeah,
more different content that showcases, because people are online. It don't matter where around the world people are consuming things online digitally. So the more that we can highlight the livity within these spaces is the more, because ones are searching. People are living, but they don't feel good inside themselves. They feel that void. And we have that inner joy, what I mean? And we need to share that with the world, not through preaching, as the I say, but through the livity. I want to talk today about conflict resolution, because as a sister and chatting with a brethren, I know you don't always agree. What I mean? How can we use Empress Menen Livity, Rastafari Livity, to help us with conflict resolution? Because that's where we get mashed up a lot of time in relationships, is that, we come to something we don't agree, ego, she go, what I mean? So how does the I cite up conflict resolution? What lessons can the I share?
this is a heavy topic. Understanding yourself, firstly. So there are three things I could say that will help with conflict resolution. Livity, your diet, one. It might be far fetched, but your diet. How you eat
I
is
live
how you
it.
will behave,
Live it. Yes,
right?
I. Mm-hmm.
If you're eating bad and eating poorly and you're not exercising and you're not meditating, you'll be reactionary and you'll be very combative as
Okay.
women. Right?
Yes.
Learning yourself as a woman, learning your circadian cycle, learning your hormonal cycles, learning how to manage your emotions as women and when to hold back. So if you're learning your cycle, sometimes you will know, well, this is not me speaking. This is a phase within my home cycle that might have me in a specific mood, right? That's that's number two. And with everything I would say education, but education is a broad spectrum. The media that you consume. So that's
Okay.
three, right? Your influences, and I will expand on each one, right? The reason why Rastafari Livity stresses on ITIL is because the way you eat is the way you will behave. If you consume meat, especially pork, it does have an impact on your temperament and your behavior and how you interpret it, interpret things, right? So
Okay.
if you're into I don't know if you know about Queen Afua or
Yes.
um
Yes. Legendary.
she spoke about that in her book, right? About the different meats. She actually broke down the different meats and how it actually affects you mentally, right? And how dairy and and flesh actually affects your hormonal balances as a woman,
Okay.
right? So that is very important. If you can't get it 100%, that's fine. Because remember, we have been conditioned to eat a certain way through slavery and colonialism, and it's hard, it's in our
Yes.
DNA,
Yes.
right? If you can't get to do it 100%, try at least try 50, try 100% for 21 days or
And,
three
and
months.
and to your point, a lot of people don't realize the amount of hormones they put in the animals, in the
Exactly.
factory farms, so they're not only your own hormones, but all of these hormones that are being pumped into the animals, the fear, hormone that the animal releases when they slaughter them. You know what I mean? So there's so much that you're putting in your structure, but continue.
Right. So that is why it is important to fast. That is why in the Orthodox Church as well. So even if you can't get the Livity 100%, try to fast from certain things for 21 days, 90 days, 60 days to reset your body. Apart from that, we have meditation practices you can do. If you're not into the meditation, you can exercise because that's a form of meditation as well.
Hold
Right?
on, stick a
Breathing.
pin, stick a pin, stick a pin. Because the exercise one, you know what I mean? A lot of my sister and I know go through a lot of stress, and the work schedule. So we're seeing, across the world, and I'm not singling out any of my sisters, love all of them, but you can see the weight, you know what I mean, on a lot of our Rastafari sisters. Even Empress Menen, was carrying weight, and I know it was the stress of the war and certain things. Um,
Yeah.
so I think this is a very serious matter, and it's delicate. So I don't touch it much, but you touch it. So I want you to go more in depth in terms of some tips that sisters can implement where they can start on this topic.
Yeah, it's important to have balance within your life. Remember, we are in an environment that is meant to shorten our lifespan, to stress us out, to have us in conflict against each other. So we have coping mechanisms. This and not everything is to pray, pray, pray. I'm not saying prayer is not good. Prayer is essential, but we also have tools as well of wellness, wellness tools. Prayer, meditation, exercise, breathing exercises. Right? You need to be balanced within yourself as a woman. Your reproductive health needs to be at optimum capacity all times because that is where the anger comes from. That is where the resentment and where the bitterness comes from. We have to learn to heal ourselves as women. And as I said, women within the Rastafari movement, they are medicine women. Right? Because in the kitchen, you're using the tools in the kitchen and the tools are around in your garden and whatever to heal yourself and always make sure that you can actually reverse some of the damage that we are getting constantly. Because if it's not the radiation from the phones and the television and the Wi-Fi, it's the food. If it's not the food, it's the lifestyle with work-life balance. If it's not that, is the expectations through what society telling us we should be. So the stresses of societal expectation and prejudices and all that. So we getting attacked all how. So
Hmm.
each day you need to take time to actually replenish yourself. Right? That is important. That helps with a lot of the, conflict within man and woman and relationships and family.
So are
Sometimes you
you
might
recommending
interpret
they
it.
go walk? Are you recommending daily walk, sit up, push up? What them need for do? Give us some tips, practical, how sisters can implement in their busy life, children, work, come home, cleaning, this, that, balance bills. You have so much going on. How can they find the time to be able to take for themselves? What would you recommend?
Um, Easy hack for me, time away from devices. So as a family, make time for picnics, going to the beach. That's within the family. Going to the beach, going to the grocery. Something as simple as grocery shopping. Something as simple as going for ice cream on a Sunday. You know, to bring that togetherness, that bonding. Right? Exercise wise, for me, I'm not a big exercise person. I prefer to do a little yoga and stretching and breathing. Right? With me at work, how I try to balance myself at work, I
Yes.
step away. I step away and I go for a walk. We have areas within the community where I work
Yes.
that we have a park. We might have a little outside area that's nice and breezy. I Every hour and a half, I will take 15 minutes to myself. Right? I
15.
hope nobody from work, none of my superiors looking at this. But I take time for myself. I reclaim my time. Honestly,
Yes.
I
Yes.
reclaim
Yes.
my time
Well, we
because
give.
they extract a lot from me. So I need to put back a lot into
That's what I
myself.
say, and
And
I'm sure you give more value than the time that you take. You give them double the value. So if they do watch, they already know how valuable the eye is in terms of the eye
yes, because
contribution.
you can't work if efficiently and effectively if you're stressed. Right?
Yes.
Remember, you're doing the same thing over and over. You need to center yourself so you can perform at the best level and give the best of yourself. And I always try to explain that at first I was a rebel. Sometimes I'm just not showing up to work and a thing and a Babylon system. But as I matured, I
Yes.
realized that that's not very practical, right? If you want to grow within a company and accomplish
Yes.
things. So you need to learn how to actually tell them what you expect from them in
Yes.
order to get what they expect from you. And
Okay.
you advocate for yourself also
Advocate.
because when you sit down there and you just eat up yourself about things that's going on within your workplace or within your family or whatever, it will affect you. One of the main killers of black women are autoimmune diseases because we don't advocate for ourselves, right? We need to
Mm-hmm.
advocate, we need to express ourselves. Sometimes anger is good, sometimes anger is constructive. We could use it as a vessel to, express what we need and express our needs and to have everybody on board, right? So that's another aspect of conflict resolution as well.
Powerful.
Using using rage as a teacher. I learned that in a book recently. Using rage as a teacher. You're not going on a rampage and cursing everybody out, even though sometimes you have to burn ash on people and let them have it, right? But you can do it in a particular way that, you know, you let them know how you feel. You don't bottle things up inside. You need to speak up as a woman. You don't overburden yourself and try to be accommodating to everybody because you need rest as well to function properly as an employee, as a mother, as a wife, as a member in church, right? You don't overburden yourself, you take time to rest. So all that helps with conflict resolution as well. And you talk to your partner all the time. So
Mm.
we might go back and forth, yeah, say this, say that, and then we vex and we cough up for about 20 minutes and we ain't talking to each other, and then we just talk about something else, right? Or we might go for a drive, right? We might still have the bitterness from the last quarrel we had 2 days ago, and then 5 days down the road, we bring it up when we're in a different settings, like we might just be going to the grocery or something, and
Yes.
we actually get to talk about our point of view on each side and come at a common ground, and forgive each other. Forgiveness as well, a lot of forgiveness.
Yeah, man.
Not tolerating any and everything, but forgiving what you can forgive, right?
Time. Big
And
time. This
that
is so
helps.
wise. The eye is so wise. I've been married to my wife for no, going on 18 years now. We've been together 23 years straight without an interruption. And everything you're saying is just right on point. You know what I mean? In terms of the conflict resolution, the communication, you know, and these are the things that we have to be very clear about because people think long-term relationship, it's like a fantasy. There's not going to be conflict. There will be conflict, but how do we get through that conflict, and talk about the importance of your word sound, the tone, the delivery. Talk about that part as a woman.
Well, I need to work on that. I try to work on that because, sometimes you might just be a little snappy for no reason. And sometimes I'm not even mad at my king man. I just vex. Sometimes I'm just tired and overwhelmed, you know, not with him, unrelated to him.
Yes,
And I
yes,
just snap at him for no reason. So that is a learning process to me. I can't say that I've found a solution to that, but what I am doing is trying to heal as much as I can. And
yes.
healing to me is not linear. I can't just wake up one day and say, okay, I'll fix this. Some days, old memories and stuff that, happen that I'm upset about, or things that is currently happening that I'm upset about, it
Yes.
just comes to the surface, and I mightn't react in the way that I'm supposed to react. But thank God I have a very understanding king man
He's a
who
lion.
knows me.
He's a lion.
Yeah,
The
he's a
lion,
liar.
the lion can't take the lioness roar, you know. We know how to deal with it. You know what I mean?
He
And
knows
just,
how to do it. He
yeah,
knows. He knows. And one thing he does is he goes in his garden. He loves plants. He always wetting plants, molding plants, something outside in the yard. So when I upset, he will just leave me and go into the yard in his garden. And
yeah,
that is what I wanted. That is what I noticed find in myself with other relationships. I
yes,
couldn't deal with some of these situations that these young men were trying to put me in, and I'm very
yes,
reactive and I'm very
yes,
opinionated, right?
yes,
So I required somebody with a lot of emotional intelligence and wisdom,
yes.
right? So
Mighty.
that is what and I encourage other women also, don't think about materialistic, superficial things only when you're looking for a partner. You need to look for emotional intelligence, leadership roles, somebody
Yeah,
who, will be able to guide you and give you direction, and also who is enterprising as well. He don't need to be rich. He just needs to be smart, right?
highly.
So
Because the queen can often help the king man to manifest his vision, you know. Is he close
right.
by there? Is
It
he
just
close?
came in. It just
Okay.
came. It
Does he want to
just
just, does he want to give a heel? He want to give us a heel as a reading, Ross?
come and say
Blessed
hi.
night, blessed night, blessed night, man.
Aile,
Blessed
aile,
night.
aile. Give thanks, King.
Yes,
You know what I mean? We just a big up the eye, you know?
sir.
Yes, I don't get big up about dealing with my tantrums. All right. So
Yes, yes.
yes,
You continue,
it's a
continue.
it's a learning process. It's a learning process for me with being respectful and having, the proper tone and temperament, because we have been conditioned for years as
Yes,
black women
yes,
to be combative, and
yes.
a lot of it came from what we saw. So I'm trying. I'm better than a lot,
What
but
I would
I'm
say is
trying.
breathing, breathing, if you
Yeah,
focus on your breath, when you get into that anger, you feel that breath, and then also the attitude of gratitude. You know what I mean? It's hard to
yeah,
feel rage or hard to feel depressed if you feel gratitude for a situation. You know what I
exactly.
mean? So
Yeah,
we give thanks. I mean, like I said, so much wisdom from the eye, and these are the conversations that we need in terms of the Rastafari, the Pan-African family, because again, we can't build a powerful nation without a powerful family. You know what I mean? Structure.
correct.
Talk to us about Empress Menen Rising. For those who are not familiar, what is Empress Menen Rising? What is the eye role in Empress Menen Rising? You touched on it a little bit earlier, but give us a official kind of overview for those who are not familiar.
Well, Empress Menen Rising is a collective of Rastafari women that come together to do community work, charitable work, and enterprise and business promotions as well. Because most of the women in Empress Menen Rising, they have some sort of business. So that first it started as a space to promote your little craft or your business, right? For pop-up shops and all that. That is how it started initially. Right? At that point I was doing waist beads, right? As a way to kind of help with, as we say, with with your healing and getting within yourself and oneness. So I was doing crafts. So you don't want to consume every time. I want to be able to create something. So I was doing crafts at that point. So it started off as that. That's how I joined the group. Somebody told me, well, you could use that space to, um, advertise your little waist beads things. I was like, okay, cool. Then from there, they started hosting events um, around community outreach and educating youths about the Livity of Rastafari and the royal monarch of His Imperial Majesty and Empress Menen. And every year they did a youth event for Empress Menen Earth Strong, right? And from that, they just started to branch off. With me, I was able to change jobs at that time, so then I had more free time, and I started to become more engaged in the group. And from there, I became their secretary, and I try my best to keep up. But Empress Menen Rising, they do a lot of work and they move fast, right?
Yes.
So they do a lot of work and they have meetings all the time. Basically, a WhatsApp group. We meet, we talk, we plan. We're gonna do this, that. Do fundraiser to get funds. People pool funds, get it done. Event, lovely, so quick and so easy. These ladies, I don't know. I don't have a word for them right now, but they are amazing. They can
Well,
put together any event with nothing, right? And then the event is actually well received and it is great. People attend and they are amazed by the works that Empress Menen does, especially the dedication. Because some women some of the empresses have more free time. And those who have free time, they put their all into it. Empress Sharon, Empress Dion, Empress Juma, Empress who else? All the empresses. I need to pick up the empresses, because they do a lot of good work. Empress
yes, yes,
Carissa,
yes, yes,
they just dedicate their time into doing work. It's not about, just reasoning and talking about the Empress Menen and what she did and what we're supposed to do as empresses. We passed that. They just do a lot of work. And then they put me now, young me, into positions to do this, Empress Fekerte, do this, go here, go to this interview, go to this meeting thing, do the notes, and that eventually I started to do the notes to the meeting, even though
yes,
it's a lot because my schedule is hectic. The
yes,
meetings are in the evening, so I try to record the meeting and do it after because I have
yes,
to cook at the same time to prepare for work the next day. So it's a
yes,
lot, but
yes.
I will dedicate my time and make sure to do it because I want to be a part of it.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't
That's
care if I have to. I have to do it. It is a requirement because this is what we need. This is what, as a Pan African group, apart from being a Rastafari group, this is what we need as nation builders and what we need as a Black community to rise and liberate ourselves as a collective, economically, politically, and spiritually. So that is what Empress Menen is, right? Is
dance.
work, service to a cause, feeding the poor, clothing the naked, taking care of the elderly, educating the youth, the Rastafari creed, right? So that is our principle, that our guiding principle. And apart from that, it is a safe space for like-minded women, right?
Okay.
So you are Pan-Africanist and thinking Rastafari and Livity. You might feel isolated in your world, So you have a space to express yourself. You have a space to ex- exchange knowledge, share knowledge, receive knowledge, to actually have people around you that encourages you, that gives you advice, that gives you a helping hand if you need it. If you're in a conflict, if you're in a situation where you need help, we have funding for that, specifically to help empresses in need, right? So
Yes.
it is what we need as a collective group within the Rastafari movement for women, and not only one mansion of Rastafari. We are from all the mansions of Rastafari. 12 tribe, Nabingi, Orthodox, Bobo Shanti, everybody. Everybody is on board and we don't have any problems. We don't argue about philosophy, we don't argue about ideology.
Yeah,
Those
we
are
don't
not
have time for that. Yeah, we don't have time for the tribalism. This
no.
platform is like that. We can have reasoning about anything, but we're not going to argue and get into divisive
No.
reasoning, because unity does not mean uniformity. I tell everybody
Exactly.
this is not a yes man platform. You know what I mean? If you disagree with I, that's great. You know what I mean? How can we work together to achieve what we're trying to achieve at the same time as we are reason and as we are moving along? You know what I mean? I want to take time to big up the Lion Pride in the building. Sister Kandaki, Queen Size says, I love Empress Fekerte, Amlak-Lamsee, educated, never too, blessed forever, loving Mama Africa. And we're going to ask you about if you're
Give
keeping up
thanks.
to
Give
date with
thanks.
Africa. Our elder Bongo Wisely is in the house. Knowledge is power. My sister, give thanks for the knowledge declared. Big up
Give
yourself,
thanks.
Bongo Wisely, all of the time. Akim Niger Naya Bingi 7 says Rastafari. Big up my sister. Every time we love that. Ras, one of our Bobo Shanti brethren, says she is very educated. Yeah, man, we see the
Give
knowledge shining through on display. I saw Empress Sharon in here. Hold on, my sister was in here. Yes, Empress says that there is truly growing. Yeah, man, that
give
motherly
thanks,
love.
Empress Sharon.
Yeah, man. Johnny
Yes,
Johnson.
the Queen Mother, Empress Sharon.
Yes, she is. She is. You know, we love the work that she's doing. Love, love, love. So you can see the Lion Pride. We are a love factory over here. CV Achat Natural Livity says powers. Bless up yourself, my sister.
Yes, Empress Carissa, give thanks.
Okay, you know
Powers.
the sister and them turn out. And for the sister, I want the item to know the lion voices for the item. We have the most Rastafari female voices on the planet, on the platform, and that's very intentional. Because I see that we need the item strength right now. The victory of Adwa was Menelek and Taitu. The victory over Italy 1935 to 1941, Haile Selassie Empress Menen. So the most I show I the balance that is required, and this war that we're fighting now, this spiritual battle that's unfolding on earth, this prophetic time is going to require that balance to overcome. We're facing trade wars, literal wars
Yes.
happening, spiritual war. All these things are taking place right now. We have to be prepared. Is the eye keeping up with Africa, with your Pan African roots? Are you keeping up with what's happening on the African
Of
continent?
course, Torre, the president of Faso,
Okay,
and
okay,
Niger, Mali,
okay, okay.
they're doing their thing. I was watching today that he left the African Union and he joined BRICS. I kind of too minded on that. I mean, I know we have some conflicts with what's happening in DRC with Rwanda. I understand it hard as well to you know, maintain Pan-Africanism within the African Union, because there's a lot of corruption and a lot of neocolonialism that the states and the leaders are facilitating, because they are creating tribalism and conflict with the rebel groups to basically line the pockets and create wealth for themselves. And sometimes you might want to step away from that, but then you're putting yourself within spaces with other powers, and like bricks that are exploitive as well. So I'm looking forward to see how that ends up. I know it's a difficult situation to be in. You know, every day I pray for this man life that he lives a long life, and that he is able to continue his works. Him and all the other leaders, the one in Niger, the one in Senegal. I pray that they live a long life and they continue their works, because it is impressive, right? I want them to maintain that movement, and probably it could broaden. But I think the world right now is going in a different direction. I think that, the powers that we had before, America, Britain, they are scared. Look, today we saw that, the UK, they banned visas to Trinidad. Yesterday,
Oh, wow.
Trump gave us an ultimatum that, we have to stop taking Cuban doctors, and because, it's like a cold war, right, going on right now. They
Yeah, man.
want to maintain their influence. They want to regain their influence, not
Yes.
maintain, because they don't have any influence anymore. We get a lot of funding from China and Russia, right? So we have been leaning that way, right? And Trinidad inherently has always been a democratic socialist country, right? But we
Yes.
are a republic, so we kind of towed the line, we kind of where the boat ends, right? But right now they're trying to make us make a decision, right? Trump
Yes. And
actually,
then
with that move,
Trinidad
what he
also
did,
has a lot
he's
of
actually telling
Indian.
us pick a side.
Yeah, Trinidad has a lot of Indian community, and India is part of BRICS.
Right. Right? So, and even before that, remember the Caribbean have a legacy of socialism,
Yes, I.
and the leftist politics all influenced us when we were building our independence, right? Especially in Jamaica as well.
Yeah, man.
But they're
With
asking us to
Mande
pick a side.
government. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're asking us to pick a side now. But I was happy that our prime minister and our cabinet, he decided not to take any bullying from the states, and said, we are a sovereign nation and we will do what is necessary for our well-being. So
Wow.
it's just now to look forward to see what will happen and how this will unfold. But I think BRICS will become, well, they are a big superpower now, and America is scared. So they're trying to bully us into taking
Yeah.
their side. But I think that ship has sailed, and the reason why our prime minister was so confident in taking a stance against Trump is because he has the support. Just as the other West African countries like Senegal, Burkina Faso, Niger, they know they have the support from BRICS. But that, to me, we also have to be cautious with that as well, because they
Non-aligned. We have to
are
be
using
non-aligned.
it as
Yeah. We
non-aligned,
Rastafari,
yes.
we
But
always take the position of non-aligned, because politics gets tricky. You know what I mean? We do what's best for the people, and humanity. One of the things I wanted to ask the eye is how does the eye see Rastafari role in this emerging Pan-African reality? We have the Sahel states emerging. You have Ghana now, you have Senegal, you have Chad, you have a lot of the African states. Nigeria just became a partner country in BRICS. You have a lot of movement that is happening strategically on the chessboard. What is the role? How does the IC Rastafari role in this whole emerging African or Pan African reality?
I believe that we need to be more involved in Pan-Africanism.
Yes.
And, Rastafaris, mostly they focus on the spiritual aspects, not very political. Um, they're more cultural and spiritual, but we need to stress on the economic and political collectivism of Black people in the diaspora. And we're not talking about Black people alone. We are talking about also on a class level, people, poor people, working class people as
Yes.
well. So that
We've
is
always
why
been to the poor.
we
Yes.
need we need to take action as well. We need to be involved and we need to be informed. So we start by being informed and then we look for ways to be involved. Right? So if you know what is going on, you know how to actually take, the different avenues within your community, what is accessible to you to try and apply these politics within your space. Right? We have a lot of programs within our countries that we could work with. If you don't want to be a part of the programs, make your own programs like what Empress Menen Rising does, right? Make your own space. If it doesn't have a space for you or a table for you, create your own table, right? And we need to be more involved. We Pan-Africanism essentially is having not a monolithic identity across the diaspora. We are all the same. We are all diverse, different groups with different ideas and philosophies, but the agenda of Black liberation should be the same, right? And we always need to remember that as Rastafari, brethren and sistren, that we are a, or a liberation movement. And to liberate yourself is also to become empowered, and to become empowered is also to take action, right? So we need to be more involved and informed, know what's going on, read and learn, and educate yourself and re-educate yourself. Don't just read a book about Selassie and then put it down. You go back into that book 3, 4, 5 times, right? Or daily if you could, right? Always educate yourself and be up to the times with what is happening. And we could also use modern tools as well to to broaden our range. Just like what you said, you use YouTube and your social media platforms to create community to get works done. We need to use social media constructively. We consume in order to educate ourselves. So you can use the content, right? Use the vehicles of social media to give you knowledge and actually nation build by creating community within these spaces. People are doing it. We have been doing it. We need to stick with it, right? Use this platform to, as you said, Ital Kitchen. We have a sister in our group. She actually created the first Ital Fest in Trinidad, right? And that is a start, right? She uses social media. She uses different platforms to spread knowledge. I have a sister and young as me, even when and we were younger at that time. She had a blog, like a video, on Ital dishes, but not an expensive, way of going about it. So she would use like common ingredients like dal, lentils, quinoa, provision, and and she will explain how to create idle dishes on a certain budget.
Powerful.
Social media. She did that on social media, right?
Uh,
So
so
we have
powerful.
the idea is just
Yeah, this
yeah.
interview is gonna go far. Um, everyone is impressed by the eye knowledge and so many topics, and the eye has been very generous, to share and to know that the eye is a expecting mother just makes it so much more joyful to receive that knowledge and that care from the eye. I know a lot of ones are gonna talk about this interview from the global Rastafari family and love it. Final sounds. I'm not going to keep the eye much longer because we're almost at the 2 hour mark. But and give us some final sound that the eye would share. And know that this is part one. We don't do one interview alone with our guests. So you're going to have to return, keep us updated. After the baby born, we want to know, how motherhood is treating the eye. You know what I mean? You're part of the family now. And we're definitely going to be working with Empress Menen Rising again to help to amplify whatever projects that the item are doing that you want to get out to the world. This is the item platform, not just Women History Month. We use Women History Month to highlight Rastafari women, but we have women on this platform all year. You know what I mean? We always push the balance in Rastafari and the family in Rastafari on this platform. So give the younger sister in them some words of encouragement, any final sounds, if there's anything. Let the people know how they can spend money with the eye. I am very adamant that when we bring forward guests, the Lion Pride must spend some money. I'm asking my audience to put aside a budget if it's 10% of your income or whatever, and you spend a $5, $10 here. Choose some guests every month, and if everybody in the 30,000 subscriber and growing does that, guess what? We're going to create our own Lion Pride economy. So let us know how you can how ones who are watching can spend money with the eye, put money in the eye pocket, whatever works that the eye has, because we want this young family to get economically strong, whatever they're doing, or if it's your kingman, whoever. But how can we put money in the eye family pocket? Let us know, and then give us some final word sound for the global family.
Okay. Currently, I have an online business that helps underprivileged persons purchase eye gear, glasses, contacts. We understand that the optometry business in the Caribbean is very exploitive, and you will have to pay thousands of dollars for a pair of glasses when you can order them online, and you can pay $300 for tested glasses. So I have a platform online where you can order your glasses and your contacts through me. I purchase them and ship them to you, and nobody spends more than $1,000, and you can get two glasses for less than $1,000, or contacts, whatever you need. I wear, because I wear glasses, and I know how important vision is. I grew up not very privileged, so I know how to take care of your glasses and how much it means to you. And if you lose them and if you break them, your parents might not be able to afford another one, but it doesn't have to be like that. That doesn't have to be our reality, right? We have avenues of purchasing stuff now online at a cheaper cost without being exploited by these optometry businesses that are basically gorging us with with high prices, right? So if you need a glasses, the name of my page is Third Eye Frames, right? On Instagram, you could always look it up, put in your order. I will show you how to measure your PD scale, and you could just get your tests done for $250 or $200 anywhere, and order your glasses. You could spend $600 and get a pair of glasses that will last very long. If you want contacts, we can arrange that as well. With my Kingman, he does plants and other sorts of plants as well. Right? So he's into that. He sells plants.
Okay.
So only way you'll be able to get access to it is through, like, if he is at a pop-up shop or something like that. But he's not a social media person.
Yeah,
He
that's
doesn't put
fine.
himself out there.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
If
if
you're in the
I want
Rastafari network in
plans through,
Orthodox Church, yeah, you can link up at the Orthodox, and you know, what I mean, you can
yes,
get,
at our harvest.
yes. So we
Yeah,
give
he's
thanks.
usually at our harvest.
Okay,
But if
give
you
thanks.
need any type of indoor plants, outdoor
Yes,
plants, if
yes.
you need it now and you don't want to wait until harvest, you can always come through me on my social media and
Okay.
I will liaise with him for you, right?
Definitely.
But
So,
other than that, that's the only thing we have going on right now.
well,
Mhm.
we give thanks. We give thanks. Final word sound for the younger sister.
And I just want to say Empress Menen Rising welcomes the younger sisters that are interested in doing work and participating and having a space to express themselves. We welcome all empresses from all backgrounds, and we are here to help you grow, to assist you in times of need, and to show you how this Livity can make your life better and actually help you develop into the person that you need to be and create a space for your business and your enterprise as well. We have an event coming up on the 30th of March. We are venerating Ethiopian queens, so we are letting the children this year. Usually we present to the children, but this year they are presenting to us, and each of them they have to create some type of creative work, whether it's a play, a drawing, a skit, a poem, or just reading out information about different Ethiopian queens from the Kush empire straight down to modern day Ethiopia, right? So we have from as far as Kandake, Amarinias, and we have Astewa. We
Yeah,
have
Lantoa, yes.
we have Empress Menen, and we have for example, who else? T2,
Yes.
Swadi right? So we have from the late monarch, and we have from all the way back in BC from the Meroitic Kandake, the Kushite Empire. So we have
Mhm.
about 10 different queens that it's going to present on. Each one of them, they have to do a creative piece and present it to us. That event is being held on the 30th of March. So that is what our theme for the Empress Menen Rising Eye Liberation, her Earth Strong Eye Liberation will be this year. I encourage everyone to show up and take in the show. It should be good. Every year, the event is be good. Every year, it is impressive. So trust me, prepare
Please,
yourself to be
please,
amazed once you attend.
yes.
And
Please get some footage so that we can show here on the Lion Voice Network, and film it with your camera
of course, we
sideways.
always document.
Film it with your camera sideways so we can format it for YouTube.
Yes.
And send in some footage so that we can show the global family the great work that Empress Menen Rising is doing. I want to just thank the Eye
Yes.
for coming forward, and thank the Eye for sharing and being so generous with the Eye knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The Eye exemplify Empress Menen Livity just in this short time reasoning. And we look forward to, again, just keep us in touch with the Eye works and what the Eye is doing so we can bring the Eye forward. Once the Eye have the youth and get settled and you're comfortable, we would love the Eye to come forward so we can reason with the Eye. Once again, this was very idolful. Big up the King Man every time, the reading Ras, the gardening Ras, you know what I mean? Big him up for I and I, you know what I mean? We love it. Keep the Empress safe, King Man. Keep the family safe. I know the Eye get that charge from the Most High. So we give thanks that the Eye holding that post. And we are here, family, 30,000 strong. The Lion Pride, the fastest growing Rastafari platform on the planet. We are doing something never before done. We are going to build a Rastafari production studio. and we're going to do it together. So become a part of the movement. You saw my long commercial. I played the commercial, my Empress said, that's too long, Ross. You have to cut that down. So we're going to cut it down and make it more streamlined, but we are building it while we're flying. And the lesson I have to everyone is just start today. Don't wait. It's Gideon, whatever your passion is, whatever your purpose is, today is the day. We are going to continue our purpose. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the lion's voice. Rastafari. I listen.
The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. But people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
This is Mama Thea of Asli Pure, and when I want to hear the story from the lion and the lioness, I listen to Lion Voice with Kwasi Bonsu.
Greetings, I'm Sister Aisha Diana Conwood, currently the Assistant Commissioner of Agriculture for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Time for the lioness to roar. You know, this is the lion's voice. Lioness, let's roar, lion pour.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up lamb's voice. Now put it. I Jolly for said that.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the light. Lion voice.